Greetings, sentient beings from across the galaxy. This is Jamie coming to you live from the AT-AT station on Endor. Welcome to another action-packed episode of Radio Free Endor. In today's show, Chris and I will dive into the latest entertainment news. First up, we'll be discussing that revealing Bob Iger interview and what it means for the state of Disney. Then we'll share our thoughts on two new blockbusters, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and of course, that blockbuster Jedi Survivor. And lastly, we'll provide an in-depth analysis of the new Ahsoka trailer. So grab your favorite beverage, get ready for a journey across the stars as we explore the entertainment realms. This is Jamie, and you're listening to Chris as well, and this is Radio Free Endor, your source for the news from galaxy far, far away. How you doing, Chris?
I'm very good. I'm glad that I could provide you that amazing prompt from Anthropic's Claude 2.
Is that what it's from? That is really, really
hmm
good. I think what we'll have to do is start doing these ones from different AI each episode and see which one is the best one. Because it seems everyone's up in arms about AI at the moment, and it'll be to get some good feedback from the Matrix itself, you could say.
Yeah, they're a very interesting topic for sure. One of the favorite things that me and my co-founder like to do is post in what our company mission and what we're doing, and then ask the AI to describe what it is and see how close it gets when we're practicing our marketing messaging. And it's really good at that. It's definitely a tool to use um, in your tool belt, just like anything else.
Yeah, it definitely is. I have to say, I've used it no end of times. I've even done some letters to my bosses at work on chat, then just filled out little bits and sent it off. And I've got really good feedback of it. I have to say, it kind of works. If they're not looking for it, and I take it they're a bit dumb. They're a bit dumb, yeah. Right? They don't realize what the state of technology is at the moment.
I
But
don't think it's a bit dumb. It's just everything is for formalities, and nobody cares if the formalities are wrote by a robot or a human at the end of the day. Look at 90% of law documents. They're all
yes.
just copy and pasted, from templates.
Yeah.
Formalities are like that's it at the end of the day.
Mm.
Um, Using it to write your letters, well, it's definitely something that's really, really good. But you need to make sure that the AI is not hallucinating false things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Oh, your brother's just put that was epic, he says. And he's hyped about it as well. And anyway, and also this is how good your brother is, Chris. He's also put please make sure to like, subscribe, everyone. So that's good. Thanks, Nick. Right. So Bilbo. Yeah. So yeah. At the moment, what we're it's all blowing up really with what's been said about what Bob Iger has been saying and about Disney. So what we'll do, Chris, is we'll pop over to the news section and we'll because I've got the video that's been posted and we'll have a look at that and then what we'll do is I might pause it as we're going along to have a quick discussion about each bit that he's saying, or should we just play it in full and then have our bits and bobs from it? What do you reckon?
Definitely just play it in full.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of CEO spiel, and well, I can definitely talk you through what he's saying.
Oh, yeah, that's good because I'm not too sure about it. So let's head into the news section, shall we? Let's go. There's a little bit of music there if you're going to be listening to this on the podcast. But believe me, it will be in there at this section right now. Okay. Right, this is now the news bit. If I had one of those little steamy decky things, I could do the little bits of music. But do you know what? Your brother gave me one, and I can't seem to find it now. I wonder who's got it. Yeah, your other brother in the other room. He's got it. Never mind. Right,
Scavengers,
I know.
Jawas.
I know. That's what it is. Yeah, it is. This. Right. So this is an interview that Bob Iger did on CNBC. CNBC. Isn't CNBC the Disney? Don't they own doesn't Disney own CNBC TV?
I believe.
Yeah, it's NBC, really, isn't it? It's CNBC. Yeah. So, so it's CNBC's David Faber and Disney's CEO Bob Iger join Squawk Box from Sun Valley, Idaho, to discuss the state of the company coming out of the retirement and contract extensions, business growth opportunities, and more. So this is, of course, it's on the CNBC channel, and this is where we're going to listen to it. So let's have a quick listen to it then, Chris, and let's have a bit of a discussion afterwards, shall we? Here we go. Whoop.
We are joined by Bob Iger, of course, the CEO of Walt Disney, of Disney here in Sun Valley. Thank you for being here.
It's nice and sunny there.
Welcome. All right, let's start off with that news. Joe Kernan was asking a couple of questions about it as well. Why are you staying?
Well, let me start with the fact that I did like retirement. I highly recommend it, by the way.
You're never going to get to it, Bob.
Well,
I mean, you did it for 11 months, and that was it.
It was a good 11 months. And I came back to the company at the request of the board. It's a company that I started working at in 1974, 49 years ago when it was ABC, and we became part of Disney. And I obviously have deep passion for the company and in the business. I care a lot about the people. After coming back, realized that the company was facing a number of challenges, some self-inflicted, some caused by changes in the business, large-scale disruption of certain parts of the business. And while a lot of work has been accomplished in the 7 or so months that I've been back, the board believed, and I agreed with them, that there was a lot more work to do. And the timetable that we had initially established, which was 2 years, seemed like it was putting undue pressure on us, even though we're getting at the work really quickly, but to accomplish everything we want to accomplish. So part of it was designed for continued stability and continuity, and also to give a team of very talented executives who work with me, time not only to help me through what is a challenging period, but to develop themselves.
Yeah. We sat down in February. You'd been back a couple of months. And I did ask you if 2 years was too short a time. And you said, quote, you can get things done very quickly. Setting the company up for success is what you were talking about. So I wonder, did something change in your calculation of how quickly you can get things done?
Well, we've gotten a lot done very quickly. Significant cost reductions, a complete realignment of the company in terms of its structure, some major changes in terms of personnel, dealing head on with some of our biggest challenges, and also looking for opportunities. I actually am quite pleased, as is the board and the team, with how much we've accomplished in a short period of time. But there are a lot of challenges out there. And, there's just so fast you can go with certain things. And in some cases, the market has to cooperate. In many respects, some of these businesses are still recovering from COVID, for instance, dealing with some complexities in terms of continued disruption, as I mentioned, which we'll talk about. But I'm pleased with how much we've gotten done, but I also know how much we have to get done.
Right. So is it a more challenging than you'd anticipated? Is the business sort of more challenged than when you returned late last year?
Yes. It doesn't mean that I am any less enthusiastic about the opportunities, and nor am I less enthusiastic about the company. In fact, the opposite. I'm extremely optimistic about the company and its assets, and we should talk about them.
We will.
But I would say that in some cases, the challenges are greater than I
How long is this interview?
Anticipated.
In what way?
Well, I think we talked a few times
5
about
minutes.
it over the years, but the disruption of the traditional television business probably is the most notable. I predicted when I was out of the company, I made a statement about the future of the multi-channel ecosystem, I think, as I described it, being very pessimistic. And I must say that prediction that I made was actually accurate. If anything, I'd say that the disruption of that business has happened to a greater extent than even I was aware, for instance. And that'll be reflected and has been in some of our near-term results. That said, there are other elements of the business that I have huge optimism about. For instance, parks and resorts, which is just a tremendous business for us. We're invested significantly, but the investments we've made over the years are really paying off today. Shanghai Disneyland, a great example of that. For instance, You were with me when we opened up the Star Wars land in California some years back. I really believe in the future of that business. We actually have opportunities there to turbocharge that growth. The studio business, which has been incredibly successful, us movie studios, and drives so much of our other business, like parks and resorts, where the franchises are, so omnipresent, and of course streaming. But the studio obviously went through a difficult time with COVID, is coming back, has some creative challenges, but a great set of franchises with Pixar and Marvel, and of course Lucasfilm and Star Wars. And then of course there's streaming. And
well, you're going through all the things that we want to talk about in the time that we have here. But I mean, just to sort of wrap up why you're staying. I mean, you said in a memo to employees, you've made important and sometimes difficult decisions. You're proud of what you've accomplished, but there's more to accomplish before this transformative work is complete. So what's transformative here, and what is the work that is going to take another perhaps 2 years or even more, even after you do leave,
Right.
that needs to get done?
Well, the transformative work, of course, is making sure that our cost structure reflects the economic realities of the business, and that includes disruption. Transformative work is dealing with businesses that are no growth businesses and what to do about them, particularly the linear business, which we are expansive in our thinking about, and we're going to look expansively about opportunities there, because clearly it's a business that is going to continue to struggle.
Right. That is I don't think that's the one that but he talked about the business, that's for sure. Where is the one bit? Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. But that was quite interesting though, that one. Didn't you think, with the graph? What was all that about, Chris?
That was the stocks of Disney. So Disney's currently on a lower share point than it was, and that's what the graphs were going down. That video was a great demonstration of Bob Iger deflecting. We were saying we've had major successes in the last 2 years. Look at the parks division. Look at Shanghai that opened in 2019. It's doing very well. We've invested in Florida. I'm not sure what they've invested in, except for, knocking down and rebuilding half of Epcot to the same style.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of deflecting in there, a lot of not very much adamant talking about all the things going wrong, all the things going right, the absorbent prices and all these kind of things.
Yeah, those prices in the park have gone up a lot. Know what I mean? And you said yourself, with these, your fast passes and stuff like that.
Disney Genie.
That's just gone stupid.
Disney's burned a lot of bridges, but there's that part of it where Disney pushed away locals, people that earned medium salaries, for the people who earn the very big salaries that can spend a lot of money and just chase them all the time. For example, you spend £2,000 to get there. You pay an expensive hotel. You don't even get housekeeping or your bed made, and then you pay for your park tickets to then spend £30, a day, just to get on the rides faster. There are a lot of upcharges. Then spending in the park. Going to restaurant meals that are in there, $50 per person. There's a lot of money being spent there. And of course, the Disney parks is a profitable arm for Disney. Unlike Disney Plus right now, Disney Plus was also a brainchild of Bob Iger. He said this is where the industry is going. And he won't admit to his own mistakes, like buying Fox for $79 billion.
I can't believe that. 79 billion. Billion?
Considering they bought Star Wars for 4.
Yeah.
And what they really got from Fox, except from the
Home
X-Men.
Alone, Alien, Predator. That's about it, really, isn't it? Or an Avatar. That's about it.
It makes Star Wars and Marvel look like a chump change for a measly 8 million.
Yeah. Right.
Billion.
So this is the one that I should have played, really. This is where Bob Iger talks about Marvel, Star Wars, and pulling back on to find focus. Now, I was looking his body language in this video when I first watched it, and he's up like this, and he seems because this guy is asking him some questions, and he seems like he's either doesn't care or he's not that interested. See what you mean. See what you see. Ready? Here we go.
Is there a problem though at Disney Animation? Is the loss of John Lasseter years ago, for example, been a blow that you haven't been able to recover from?
Well, first of all, the studio and its movie assets are #1 at the global box office this year so far. That said, we're extremely realistic, and I'm very objective about that business. And there have been some disappointments. We would have liked some of our more recent releases to have performed better. It's reflective, not as a problem from a personnel perspective, but I think in our zeal to basically grow our content significantly to serve our mostly our streaming offerings,
I just want to pause it there, Chris. Now, this is the constant. They've put it down as this constant cold streak. Yeah, opening weekend box office grosses versus estimates. Yeah, so the opening weekend for Indiana Jones, that one there, right? That one there. Its opening weekend was 60 million. 60 million, right? The estimate was also 60 million. Yeah, but the budget was 300 million. 300 million for Indiana Jones. Bearing in mind, right? Let's pick right. So Elemental had a 30 million opening, and it was estimated to have a 35 million, but its budget was 200 million. Yeah. Now, Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Quantumania had a 106 million opening, where the estimate was 110 million. But that was a 200 million pound movie as well. 200. I can't believe that Elemental, which was just a CGI film, cost 200 million, and the same price as Quantumania was 200 million. Now, like the same thing as well, Guardians of the Galaxy and Little Mermaid both had the same budget of 250 million. Yeah. Guardians 118 versus 120, so it should have had 120, right? Now, Little Mermaid 96 million, where it estimated 100 million, right? Now, the last one is right at the end, is you can't really see it, but it's the Haunted Mansion, the new remake for the Haunted Mansion. They don't know what the estimate, they don't know what the open, because it's not open yet, but the estimate is 20 million. That seems really low for an estimated opening, but the budget was 157 million. It's like, what the hell's going on? But that is just, to me, that is just chucking money.
The biggest problem is Disney's they've tried to have their cake and eat it too. They've said, look, all of these films are going to be in the cinema, and then you go, great, and then you see the reviews and you go, actually, I'll wait for it on Disney Plus. So yes, they technically get the money later on down the line, but it's a completely different ballpark to actually getting it from the cinemas. And this is the problem with a lot of these films. They've had very lackluster response. You know, even Guardians of the Galaxy, I think I saw it a month after it came out in cinemas. You know, I've still not even seen Into the Spider-Verse. Like, and I think the biggest comment I have to say here around Marvel is I think in the last 2 years, we've had more Marvel content than we did from the start to Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Over like 10 years. So we've had a lot of exposure to Star Wars, to Marvel, to remakes. And this is actually, you know, not a bad strategy from Disney. Acquire properties and abuse them, quite simply.
Yeah.
Milk them of all the money. The problem here is that they're spending a lot of money to make them with lackluster returns. So they have to either do one of two things. how I kind of see it is spend less,
Mm.
So lower budgets,
Yeah.
and longer releases, or just cut so many of their film slate, all the next phase of Marvel potential. I remember when they got on stage, even at Star Wars Celebrations, or even 2 years before, and they said, "This is the amount of Star Wars stuff coming out." I will be surprised if we see anything more than, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch finishing, and the Ahsoka stuff, in the next few years.
Mm.
I would suspect that everything that's not being filmed on right now is gone, is cut.
Mm.
Like, they will cut everything. And I
Yeah.
think it will be the same with Marvel as well.
Mm.
Will we ever get the Fantastic Four reboot? Will we ever get, all of them kind of things? I think
Blade
the
as well. Blade
Blade,
was announced, wasn't it?
Moon Knight season 2, I think with the writer's strike and actor's strike happening as well, people getting fatigued with subscriptions, with cost of living crisis, and going, why am I paying for Netflix and Disney and Sky and
Mm.
all these different platforms? I think you'll see a lot more also of people just going, you know what, I'm just going to unsubscribe. I'll wait until there's a bunch of things I want to watch. I
Mhm.
will pay for it for a month and then stop paying again.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think that, Netflix is kind of shooting themselves in the foot with this monthly plan change as well.
Mhm.
But there's definitely a lot of room to re-figure out what Disney is good at and what really works. And the thing is, it was always creativity and unique stories,
Yeah. Yeah.
not beating a dead horse in the Marvel game or the Star Wars game every 2 months.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Right, let's jump back into the interview now.
Ended up taxing our people way beyond, in terms of their time and their focus, way beyond where they had been. Marvel's a great example of that. They had not been in the TV business at any significant level. Not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of television series. And frankly, it diluted focus and attention. And I think you're seeing that is, I think, more the cause than anything else.
Well, he's just said there about how he's overworked the people at Marvel, overworked them, and
Not
if you
just
watch
Marvel,
all of them, yeah, all of it,
ooh,
and you can tell that because do you know when I watched season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, I could not tell if that was in studio or actually outside in the real world. Do you know what I mean? And I was totally like invested in that new studio that they built for it, and I was like, wow. But season 3, I could tell that they were in a studio or or they were filming on location. I could easily tell, and I think that's because they've literally sucked up part of the budget, maybe, or they're going too quick, or they're just not giving the animators enough time to do bits.
The Mandalorian's been over for like 4 years at this point, though.
Yeah, it has, isn't it? There was a 2-year
And
break, wasn't it, between?
And during that, we've had
three.
COVID, we've had Book of Boba Fett, we've had Obi-Wan. I think the key thing here is constantly having a Marvel property to watch, and then a Star Wars property to watch, and if you miss your content calendar, you don't know what's happening. It's like Mrs. Marvel, so you need to watch the TV show and WandaVision. Oh, how did Wanda get here? How did X and Y get there? Has anyone been watching Secret Invasion? Because that has been a flop as well, to what I hear. And I think fatigue is the biggest problem that I see as well. Is that you hope that when something comes out, it is good. But when you're constantly being bombarded with Star Wars, you can't necessarily see the good from the bad. It gets a bit too always samey.
Yeah.
And I think that even with Marvel, Star Wars, for example, I've not watched any of Visions. Here it's good, but there's only so much Star Wars you can watch.
Do you say Visions?
Mhm.
Do you know what? I've not watched them all. I've not watched them all because they just. Do you know what the teaser trailer? The teaser trailer got me well excited for it. Whoever edited that trailer, I would thought, wow. But when I watched the episode,
Overconsumption.
yeah, they were like, oh, God. You know what I mean? It was just very meh. You know what I mean? The stories were they're just meh. There was a couple of pointing bits in the Odd Man one, but apart from that, no, nothing much. Right, let's jump back into this.
Yeah.
And Pixar, I mean, we've talked through the years. There was a time when a Pixar opening was a real event. Did it suffer as a result of during COVID when you were going direct to consumer? For example, I think it was Red or one of the fairly
Yes,
big movies went.
there were three Pixar releases in a row that went direct to streaming, in part mostly because of COVID. And I think that, may have created an expectation in the audience that they're going to eventually be on streaming and probably quickly, and there wasn't an urgency. And then I think there was I think you'd have to agree that there were some creative misses as well. I look at the company is 100 years old. Walt Disney went into the animation business starting with shorts in the 1920s, and obviously his big first feature with Snow White in 1937.
Don't get me on.
If you look at his history, there were peaks and there were valleys. Every valley was followed by a peak, and I studied it very carefully. It's true in my predecessor Michael Eisner's days too. He had great halcyon days of Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid and Lion King, and just this tremendous success, and then there's a dip. I'm not suggesting we're necessarily in that, but I'm also not suggesting that we're at a peak either. That we have some work.
He's just talking about those animated version, the animated films. That was the literally towards the end of the great period of Disney, weren't it? With those animation films, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. It was
Those were Michael Eisner. The Disney Resonance was brought on by Michael Eisner,
and they were like
Wells.
classics. And when he says peaks and lows, well, we're on a low now because they are making some serious crap. Whenever we said about Snow White, the remade Snow White, and pictures came on today. It's made the news of the 7 dwarfs, and they're not even dwarfs. There's one dwarf. And they're like, it's like, what? Who are these people? Yeah, it's. I can't believe they've gone down that route. I really do. I hope that Snow White bombs 100% because what they're doing with it is proper woke with it. Really is. It's awful, awful. Enough of that Snow White. Yeah, but yeah. But Bob Iger is like, yeah, ups and downs, what it is. He's oversaturated the market. You're right. That Secret Invasion, it's like we would talk about the strike.
Good.
It's the story, right? The story. It's filmed up here. It was actually only filmed about 5 miles from where I'm sitting right now, right? The whole thing was filmed up here, right? And I was quite looking forward to it. And when I watched it, I was thinking, did the writers of this series not watch anything else in the Marvel history? Did the writers of this series never read any of the comic books? It's like somebody's just gone, write me a story about a Secret Invasion about these Skrulls. Yeah, all right then, boss. He just wrote it. And it's like, and there was a major spoiler to in the episode. Well, not a spoiler because I watched it. And I'm like, what? How? What? With a major character, one of the major characters that's been in all of the franchise as a male, as a male, suddenly turns that if you find out that he's actually a female shape changing alien. What? Does that make him trans? What? I'm like, and you immediately go on the internet, and everyone's going ape crap about it. About all these people, because it's like, what is he? What is he? He's a male, female, and now and now he's where? At which point in the history of his character did he suddenly get taken over and become this alien? Now I'm like, obviously, and they've made Nick Fury to be a awful person. He's just like not that good. It's just, in fact, Chris, in all the Marvel films, right, Nick Fury is the best of the best, isn't he? He's the guy that gets things done. This Secret Invasion, it's made him out to be, nah, actually, he's just a regular Joe. It's just the shape changes that have done everything for him, and he's took the credit for it, which has put him up and up and up and up the ladder. Well, that sounds like real life, actually, but you know, people stepping on the shoulders of other people to get to the higher place. But I'm thinking, oh God, these writers, they're just, you know, with this writer's strike, I'm hoping they take the time to actually read up and write good stuff, because what they're writing now is crap.
Well, if you read some of the things that the writer's strike are saying, it's that they're saying they don't like how much studios are meddling with their stories. So the question is, are you wrong with saying it's the writers, or is it the executives?
Well, yeah, Star Trek has suffered from it. Star Wars has suffered from it.
The writers or the executives? Because you could write the best story ever, and then the executives go, yeah, change this. No, I don't want to. Well, I ain't getting produced then. Okay, then I'll go change that. And I, for no matter of a doubt, think there are writers that don't know the properties they are writing for. I think all the people that write Star Wars know what they're writing for. I think all the people that know, you know, Marvel know what they're writing for. You know, there's hundreds of comics out there that these things are being based on. I personally think it's studio intervention. It's people that Bob Iger's saying, we're in ups and downs, you know, we're fixing the ship. The board are happy with me staying, you know, I am the one to do the job, is basically him saying that they're trying to figure out what the problem is. And they've not done it yet. And to be the CEO of Disney, you have to be groomed for a very long time. Bob Chapek was groomed, you know, he was taught the way of the many divisions and the many things, the Disney parks, to the studios, to all of that, and failed. So what did they do?
Don't hit the door on the way out.
Yeah. Instead of hiring someone else, they got back who they knew, you know?
Bob Iger.
And I think at the end of the day, like, oversaturation is the problem here. No matter if there's good stuff or bad stuff, the oversaturation has got us to a point where you don't even want to go see it or watch it. Even if Secret Invasion is good or bad, maybe I'll get around to it, you know? I don't know when the next thing happens.
To be fair, Chris, you know, I'm not just pulling it down. If it was fantastic, if it was really, really good, I will say it is really, really good. Absolutely watch it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm also going to pull out saying if it's crap, it's crap. But we'll talk a bit more about that. Let's crack on with what else Bob, like we know him, has got to say. Here we go.
Work to do there in terms of improving our creative output.
Did the loss of Lasseter, was it a blow to the company over time?
Look, there's a lot of talent at Pixar. There has been turnover as well, not just John, but there's been other turnover too. And that may have had some impact.
But you're confident that the production of Pixar animation, for example, and the Disney studio overall is going to continue to be strong.
Correct.
Marvel and Star Wars, too much. I mean, you almost indicated kind of it's been a little much. Do you pull back in a way?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah, you pull back not just to focus, but it's also part of our cost containment initiative. You know, spending less on what we make and making less.
Now, of course, it used to be that some of that stuff would then go to Netflix and you'd make a lot of money from selling it in different distribution channels. Now it all just goes to Disney Plus. Do you ever think about how much money
we shouldn't have done that?
Not that you shouldn't have done it, that there's still, I mean, the old model worked pretty well.
It's kind of interesting because I think if we did, well, the old model worked when it was a blend of basically business models. It wasn't the only model. The licensing model was part of a collection of models. I think if we hadn't done it, everyone would be saying, why isn't Disney going to the streaming business? You know, and as it turns out, I think we made the right decision there to go into that business. It will be a growth business for us. We will turn it around. I'm confident of that. It will become profitable, and it will deliver growth for the company. And it will be an important business because that direct-to-consumer model, where you have a relationship with your consumers, which we lack, frankly, as a company, except in our parks and resorts business, that will be of value to us long term.
Right, there we go. There we go. So straight away he says he's going to pull back on the franchises. So do you reckon the Accolade will be released? Because
Yes.
there's been no trailer. There's been nothing of it yet.
I've seen a trailer, and yeah, that's being released.
Yeah, but
I
it happens
think
at Star Wars Celebrations. And don't you know that what Kathleen Kennedy says, what happens at Celebrations stays at Celebrations?
no, I think that's far too what did she say? They said it finished streaming. I think what they will do is delay the releases to spread things out,
Mhm.
because when there's, I think when there's just constant bombardment, it's easier to let it go. But like, I'm gonna miss it anyway. But say when there's a month between them, you're like, oh, I can't cancel it this month because next month, there's something starting. And I think the biggest problem is, as well, we used to have this thing when we had cable TV where
Mhm.
all the big TV shows picked a day, and they kind of
Yeah.
like knew not to swap their day because a Friday was Game of Thrones, but a Wednesday was Breaking Bad, and they knew not to cross channels, because they knew they would
Yeah.
eat the same audience. I think that's the problem, is like all these streaming services are all vying after the same consumer. Disney's obviously going direct to consumer, and it works. Disney
Mhm.
Plus works. It's just oversaturated. They need to pull back, really refine some gems because, well, to put simply, you look at the films that win Oscars, you look at the films that, get made on budgets, you
Mhm.
can make a very good film. Chucking money doesn't just make a film
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So they need to really work out what makes a good film.
Mm.
And if they can't do it, Disney will perpetually be screwed for a very long time. They
Yeah.
have all the intellectual properties, the franchises that they can do and better. They need to not have a roadmap, and say, just so you know, in 2027, Toy Story 5 will come out, and just be like,
Yeah.
here's, the next Toy Story. Here's the trailer. Be out in 4 months. Bringing things back. Really work out what success, unique intellectual properties. I think there's definitely still room for growth. One of the best unique properties that I saw from Disney last year was Turning Red on Pixar. That was a
That was
great
a good
film.
film. I like that.
Exactly. You don't need to just beat the dead horse of Star Wars. And don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars. But there's that thing of, do I need another Star Wars film? Yeah, but this is Goonies in Star Wars. Go create a new Goonies. Not Goonies specifically, but
Mhm.
okay, better. This is a romance in Star Wars. Just go create another romance film. Go create a unique new romance film. It doesn't need to be a romance in Star Wars. It doesn't need to be X in Star Wars. Just go create unique franchises. That's what Disney did best in the Renaissance era. Yes, recycle old properties if you think they've got the chops, like Haunted Mansion,
Mm.
Pirates of the Caribbean, even that. Make sure you know what you're doing. You put good writers behind it. Let them do their job. Don't piss them off, quite simply. Let the actors and the writers and the directors do what they want to do without executive oversight. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the world will go smoother. Like, do you really think, and we'll get on to this
Mm.
when we review Indiana Jones, that the film that was produced was 100% James Mangold's vision?
He says it was.
Of
He
course, he
says
says it was.
he says it was, and he said the ending is exactly how he wrote it. To me, I
Mhm.
think that is the ending was
That's you trying to keep your job.
rewrite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards did the same thing. Now, when Tony Gilroy came in and refilmed Rogue One, what a good boy Gareth Edwards was, because he went, "Oh, it's fine. Hello, yes, I directed it. Yeah, brilliant." No, you didn't, mate. Somebody else came in and did it. You just fed the little. Well done there, little mate. Oh, Gareth. Oh, good lad. Go and get yourself a chocolate, and we'll contact you again. He took it, and he took it well. And same with Mangold. Because he started having arguments with people on the internet about it, and he was literally blaming fans for hating it. Bearing in mind, he did release it at Cannes with no embargo, so all the critics went blah 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 blah. And I've heard that this Indiana Jones is going to be on Disney Plus within 6 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like, really? 6 weeks window? Is that it? Is that all you're getting? So there is a lot of people that are just going to go, now wait until it's on Disney Plus. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And Disney's still making money on Disney Plus.
Mhm.
I think the key with this all is what's good, you know. Just making its money back is not good enough. It's good enough for the independent filmmaker who goes,
Yeah.
great, I can make the next one. I made my money back. But for Disney, it's all about profit. If profit doesn't return in multiplications, their stocks will be down, their shares will be down, and this is the biggest thing about capitalism. It always has to grow and be bigger and better, and revenue continues to go up, no matter what. And when revenue goes down, that's when your shares go down. That's where your company shrinks. And I think the really simple thing is that Disney's in a great place, still. Like, yeah, the eye is on them. They're getting criticized in all aspects. But when you're the world's biggest entertainment company, you probably deserve the criticism, you know?
Yeah, it
Um,
is. Yeah.
and you would hope you'd smash it out of the park with every bit of resource you had.
Yeah. Right. for just what you were saying about that is that with the Snow White, this is what came up on today. So bear in mind, they were also saying these are not the real actors; these are stand-ins. Yeah. So I'll share it. It is. I think it's this one. Yeah, here it is. Right. This is the remake of Snow White. Walking behind her are the seven dwarfs. Right. So that's her. Look, it's like, is there any dwarfs there? Yeah, there's one there. There's somewhere. Can you see it? Let me just look. There he is. There's one. Bless him. Just there. You see him? Just there. Right. Look. Who's that dude at the back? He's like 6 foot. How is he a dwarf? It's like, what's going on with that picture? I can understand diversity and inclusion, but that's just stupid. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's not Snow White and the seven inclusive and diversity people that she just happens to know are minors. Well, at least they've got one in. You know what I mean? What's going on there? What's going on there?
Well, it's obviously the film will be called Snow White.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, it's not called Snow White.
It was, that was a book out of the right wing political correctness about wokeism. Was it truly stand-in people, or were they actually the actors? Who gives a flying fuck? Quite honestly, if it's not your kind of film, watch the goddamn original and leave it for people that want to go watch it.
Yeah.
I watched the remake of The Little Mermaid, and I will say it was pretty good. It was the best,
Yeah.
probably one of the best remakes that I've seen from them. And if it's your thing, go watch it. If not, don't.
Yeah,
That's all I
that's
can
true.
say.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but why remake something that's already a classic into something
It's
that
not
people are
made
not
for
going to
you.
watch?
You've got the classic. You got the
God,
grey hair to go
you,
with
know,
the classic.
you make me so angry when you say it's not made for you.
It's not.
It's
It's not
yeah,
made for you.
I know it's not made, but I do like watching, these films.
I know.
I've always said, why do Hollywood have to remake good films into crap films? Why don't they make crap films into really good films? You know what I mean? And there
Because
is
the crap
some
films
real
are crap.
no. There is some real bad films out there that had really good premise. There is something there that could be redone. Why don't they just go, do you know what? Let's redo that and we'll make that a cracker and make it into a good one. It's like when they remade Poltergeist. Oh God. You know what I mean?
Horror
Why?
films don't make money.
That's true. That's true. That is very true. That is true. So the last word on the Bob Iger thing, then, Chris. I think I'd be surprised if the Acolyte comes out. Right? I'd be surprised if it comes out. I hope it does because you've seen the trailer. You say it sounds really, really good. I'm going to go by what you said about it. I also want to see the Skeleton Crew. I'm more interested in the Skeleton Crew than I am about the Acolyte. Yeah. But there is something that came up actually on Fantasy. Well, it came up on Twitter about the Acolyte, and straight away I was thinking, why do they have to say this kind of stuff? Why can they not just put it out there that, listen, people, this is going to be a fantastic Star Wars program. Yeah, you're going to love it. Instead of saying, oh, it's you're going to the cast are shows diversity, different people with different backgrounds. Well, it's Star Wars. They're bound to have different backgrounds. It's a science fiction show. But when they go on about, when they make, force it in your face about diversity and inclusion, it just spells woke to me. And I think, yeah, obviously, you're right. Not made for me. It's made for the woke people out there, and they can take it. It really got me when, as soon as they put this up online, I was like, what? Why do they have to say it? Why? There's no need to say it. You know what I mean? They can go ahead and do it because they just go ahead and do it. So why do they have to? Why do they have to make that statement, knowing that it's going to get fans riled up, and then there's going to be a lot of people that go, "I can't be asked for that show," and it's going to lose money or it's going to lose viewers, and people ain't going to watch it. And then Bob Iger next couple of months time is going to go, "Yeah, we went bad on that one as well." Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's just maddening. Why do they have to make statements for it? Just let it go. Just say, listen, people, you're gonna really enjoy this Star Wars. It's filled with different people from different cultures in different planets. You're gonna love it. Great. Move on. Now, diversity, include. They've got to say them two words: diversity and inclusion. The manager said, "Don't worry, people. This film is good. This program is going to be woke as hell. You're gonna not like it." Oh, okay, fair enough. We'll just we'll bypass that and watch the Orville, which is fantastic. Yeah, and they know
That
how
was
to.
pretty woke.
What?
The Orville.
What? You've watched it. I did not. If it was, I didn't see it because the way they handle storylines was brilliant. They had brilliant writing, brilliant special effects. The way they dived into different topics was brilliant. Loved it.
Too bad no one likes it and didn't get the money. Because you know what? This is what makes the money, and you're in a minority. And so what I can tell you of what I've seen from the Acolyte, it is the best looking Star Wars thing that I have seen in many years. So if it's woke and, whatever, I don't care because it was the best looking Star Wars thing that I saw. And I saw the trailer twice. And the funniest part is I said to you, you should come to the High Republic panel they're going to show the trailer there. You was like, I'm not going to no woke panel. And what
Mm.
they do, they showed the trailer there a second time, and you missed out. I
Yeah,
can
but I
tell
don't
you,
like the High
it
Republic.
is the best looking
I
Star
like
Wars
High.
thing to come out for
Well, I
many
hope
years.
you're right. I didn't like it. I don't like the High Republic. It's not. It's not red for me. Which you're dead right. It's not. It's right for other people to enjoy, not me. And to be fair, I only liked it in Jedi Survivor. So, with that fantastic link, should we talk about Jedi Survivor now? So we'll leave the news section now, and we'll dive into Jedi Survivor, our review of Jedi Survivor. Yep, and we'll spend about 5 minutes on this, or 10 minutes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Right. So I'm just gonna stop that screen and add this one so we've got something just on screen for people to look at. There you go. Right then, Chris. Jedi Survivor. You've played it. I've played it. I've got the sound down on this, so there's no sound playing on this video. It's just as we talk. Yeah. So yeah, you've played it. I've played it. I want your views of it because you replayed Jedi Fallen Order as well, didn't you? Just prior to being in this game, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I honestly thought that the story was okay. The story in the first one was better. I thought, the world design, yeah, it was pretty good. It did a lot of things well. The environment, the game mechanics, the different fighting styles, all really, really good. It's just the story didn't hit as hard as the original.
Yeah.
But obviously they're setting it up for a third part, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
I totally loved this game. I played it. The difficulty level was really difficult on some of the bosses, I have to say. So I literally took a page out of your book. I played it on normal, and then when it came to bosses, I just dropped it down, then back up again after the bosses because some of them were like, "God, these are really hard. Why are these really hard?" And there was no difference in the game. And I liked it. There was some bits that like like when you got two people and you do that style of where they fight together sort of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get it to a point where you could see that bit because they're either standing too far away or then
Yeah, when you was playing with Bode
yeah.
or Merrin, I thought, yeah, it was really, really good. I think the real downsides to the game was just the story could have been a little bit more. Where it ended was great, but it never felt that urgency to me. The urgency wasn't there with half it. Like, I pretty much played most of the game, collected pretty much most of the heals, like all 12 heals, before finishing like half the story. Because as soon as I got all the force abilities that I needed, I was like, okay, I'll just go find everything. And, that really said to me that I didn't feel that urgency in the story that I should have felt, like, hey, that they're really trying to get to this planet. Okay, well, I'm just going to go over here. It really felt like it was missing that urgency, and that was the only thing I would say. I think
Yeah.
how they handled Merrin and all the crew was great. I think Bode was great. I think all of it was really, really good. It was just the story was lacking that sense of urgency. I really liked the villains of the storyline. But I feel like they could have been in it more. It needed one or two more scenes with the High Republic Jedi to really have nailed it. It felt like it just missed one or two more exposition scenes with certain characters. And I feel like if they had them exposition scenes, it would have gone so much further in terms of the actual story.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say you're right. I did enjoy the story in the first one more than this one, but
The
the
story was still
visual.
good. You know, it's saying like, oh, the story in the first one was probably like a 9, but the story in this was a 7.5. You know,
Mm.
not
Oh,
a lot
oh,
worse.
yeah.
Still
Also,
worth playing.
there was a bit in it that because he's got a scar on his face, they say something about it, but in fact, you have to read a book of how he got that because there is a book in between the last game and this game, which explains how he got involved in that crew as well. This new crew at the beginning of
The
the game,
Silver crew.
yeah, and how he got the scar. And I was thinking, oh man, they've gone down that route again. Oh, you've got to find out in the buy a comic to find out about the red arm, that kind of thing. But apart from that, it didn't spoil the game. The visuals on it were absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? They were the
There was
best of the best.
some characters that were in there that didn't need to be in there. There's some
Yeah.
characters that needed more time,
Mm,
who were in there. And I don't really want to spoil it,
mm,
because I know like Holly's watching, and Holly will
yeah.
get around to playing it at one point. But there's a character at this part of the actual story that it's fine with. Is they brought a character back from the first game. It was like, what was the point in that? It was really just to, well, show
Yeah, you're
that,
right. This
you
character was in the first game.
yeah,
I was
you
thinking,
defeated
it's
her
another one.
on you defeated her on
Uh,
Kashyyyk
Kashyyyk, yeah.
in the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she loses her arm.
Yeah.
And this time it shows that Cal is a different guy. He
Yeah.
behead her this time, so she
Yeah.
can't come back. But
Mm,
this was that thing of like, was this boss fight needed? Would have been spent a little bit more time with some other characters. And I have to say it was a very good game. I'm very excited for the third part if they ever
yeah.
get there. And it's a trilogy of games that, if they learn that, okay, the middle one, we did really well on the environments, we did really well on the mechanics, we just need to nail that story part, I'll be very happy with.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree with you. Do you know the one bit I really liked, right? And I think they took it out of the same thing as Assassin's Creed. You know when you get to your homestead and it's in really bad repair,
Mhm.
but as you do missions, it attracts people to your village, and the village starts getting better and better. I enjoyed that part of Jedi Survivor when he goes to that home planet with that cantina. I loved the cantina. The cantina was my favorite place to go to and
Pylo
just look
Saloon.
around. Yeah, because there's no end of little Easter eggs in that cantina itself if you look around, and little doors and stuff like that. Now there was a thing with the planting, with the plants collecting the seeds.
Mhm.
I thought, "Well, is that anything?" But it's just a collectible. It's just a collectible. It does nothing to the game or change it apart from just dialogue. Um, but and my favorite that oh yeah, there was one bit that I thought, oh, why they took that away? Is you could customize the mantis itself with different colors, and they took that away. That was not in this one. It was in the first one, but not in this one. And I was hoping that my PlayStation would recognize my save from the last game and have the mantis as the same color. But no, it didn't. It didn't do anything like that. That would have been cool. So I I don't know why they couldn't put it. It was surely it was a simple thing because they do it with all these, and there were no end of costumes. I have to say there was so many costumes that I won and bought. I got the deluxe edition, so I got like the Obi-Wan, and I was flipping and flopping between, you know, all the time going for one costume. I was thinking, do we, different costumes? I suppose it's nice, but it doesn't alter anything of the game.
Yeah, that was
Um,
the thing about the deluxe edition, is that you can kind of feel like, I got scammed out of 20 quid extra.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, I did.
Because you bought 3 skins and went, these are really cool. And then 20 minutes later, you got a different top and you went, I'm just going to wear that one.
Yeah, ended up wearing the poncho for no end of it. You know what I mean? Which
The
I had to
poncho.
win. The poncho, yeah, which I had to buy it in game with the credits they do with the
No,
game.
you don't buy the poncho in game. You get it from defeating Ogno Bogno
That's it.
in the pit. And there's a trophy for putting it on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I found all the collectibles. I would say my go-to outfit was the bomber outfit, with I think it was shaved head, shaved side head of cow and a mustache because mustaches are cool.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah, I have to say, yeah. Do you see the big handlebar ones he had on? That was quite cool as well. Yeah, and some of the hairstyles, I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to have him running around in that. I had him with slightly longer hair, and I also tried to do it like a bit of a passage of time where his hair was slowly grow. But I was just paying too much attention to it. I just wanted to get through the game. But the environments were fantastic, and I love that track, Ebb and Flow, that's played in the game in the cantina. You got to find the droid. I'm hoping. I'm a member of a couple of droid builders clubs, and I'm hoping somebody actually builds that DJ droid because it's so cool. Or bring it out as an action figure. I'll buy it as an action figure as well. But
yeah, I think there's a lot of things that did well. I'm not saying that. My favorite, I have to say, the stance upgrades were great. I loved the pistol upgrade and I loved the broadsword. They were my 2 go-to stances. In the original game, I basically just dual bladed pretty much everything. But in this game, I pretty much used the pistol and the broadsword for a lot of it.
Yeah. There is also, if you look online, there is a couple of places where you can, what do they call it? Where you can harvest skill points to build it up, really build them up so you can buy all these skills really, really fast. I did it in the last game, but I didn't do it in this one because I've managed to get through it pretty well without it. So it was good. But if I was going to rate this game, I would give it a good an 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And I would give Jedi Survivor a 4. Jedi Fallen Order a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I think genuinely it was a good story. It just needed a few more tweaks to really get it great. And the one thing, that without going too deeply into spoilers, is how Cal starts perceiving the dark side in this game. I really did enjoy.
Yes. Are they going to carry that on into the next game? Because once you unlock that ability, I used it all the time. I hate to say it, but I used it all the
Grief and
time.
anger.
Yeah. Now, is this the Empire Strikes Back of this series, do you reckon?
No.
It's not.
No. Nothing bad truly happens.
Yeah. That's
like
true.
It does. Bad things do happen. I say that.
Yeah.
Great moments happen.
Yeah.
This game had some great moments, but the overall story just needed a little bit further. I really did enjoy the environment, the locations, the extra equipment, the beasts, the environment, defeating all the legendary beasts.
Yes.
Was enjoyable. I enjoyed everything, even defeating the Rancor for the first time. I really enjoyed it. My favorite part about the Rancor is it must have took me an hour or two, and all I'd think in my head is every time I died is Luke Skywalker defeated this with just a goddamn bone. And I can't do it with a lightsaber.
Yeah, I was thinking I don't really want to kill it because I heard that they're really rare, but I'm gonna have to kill it. That's for sure. I must admit there was also I have to. There's I think there's two people locked down in some mines behind some vines and something. I think they're bounty hunters. I can't remember where they were, and I can't remember
Did
how to get
you
to them.
do all the bounties?
No, I've not got all the bounties. No, and I'm missing one. Do you know the tale of the frogman who gets all the fish? I'm missing one. I think it's the last one to get. I can't think where that is either.
Follow an online guide.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, I did all the fish. I did all the bounties. There's a really interesting story moment at the end of the bounty hunter quests.
Is that okay? I wonder if there's going to be a DLC. Was there a DLC for the last game?
No.
No. I wonder if there was going to be one for this one. So yeah, that was our analysis of our review of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where they go with it.
And do you know if they announced that this was going to be turned into a film with this lad, who's going to be in it, I'd be like really excited for it because I like this, but they'll probably mess it up. Like always. Yeah, like always. Right. So, and now we'll get into the Ahsoka trailer. Should we get into that, Chris?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. So I'll dig it out.
I've already got it up on my computer.
Oh, right. Will it play with sound?
Yeah, of course it will.
Okay. So this is the Ahsoka trailer. And because we seem to have done two other Ahsoka trailers every time we've been on this, but this is, I think, the final Ahsoka trailer.
The official trailer.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. This is it. Right.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. And that's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain. You have no power.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow. Now, I have to say, I like that trailer.
Yeah, I do too. I thought it had some really good moments in it. Where do you want to start?
Right. Let's start with the sad passage, with Ray Stevens, of course. I can't wait to see him in it. Unfortunately, because he's passed away. And you know what I mean?
Must destroy.
Turn the sound. That's
There
it.
you go.
You know, he looks so good. No, go to the see this guy here, right? See this guy here that he's going about to murder. Do you know? I think that is Anthony Daniels, right? Watch. Or maybe not. I was thinking
Maybe not. But I think this is really interesting. I think Rey's character, 100% ex-Jedi who has left the Order. He's bled his own lightsaber blade. He's got an apprentice. And he's basically gone, I could do the Sith thing myself, is what I would guess.
Is it possible to not be a Jedi, but not be a Sith, but do Sithy things, but not be a Sith?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think this is really interesting because this is something really sad. She's 100% a Dathomir witch.
Yeah.
She is a Night Sister. I think 100% from this.
Good catch on that.
Because you see there is that there's a little green flame there.
Yes.
And Dathomirian witches, wherever they use magic, it tends to be green flames.
Look at that badge that she's got on her as well. See the badge on her belt? Yeah. Oh, good. That's a good cache there, Chris.
I definitely think they're searching at this point in the story. I think this is very much episode 1. I think they are searching for Thrawn.
Yeah.
Because they believe if they bring back Thrawn, they can get everything they want. Ultimate power, ultimate reward. I think this is a really cool shot with all the Mon Calamari ships.
Yes. Yeah. I thought loved it.
You know, I think this is actually really interesting. You got the Phantom.
Yes.
So that's going to be exciting to see the Ghost and the Phantom.
You're bound to. I think they're holding off from showing the Ghost, aren't they? Really?
Well, this is kind of an interesting one because I was on the Lego store today, and Disney are releasing a new Lego Ghost and Phantom.
Yes,
so
they are.
They definitely will. I think Hera looks really, really good. I think they have cast everyone really, really well. I think that
Get ready to pause it here. When that droid pops its head up, I want you to pause it. Yeah, go on.
With this droid here.
Pause. Now, I took a screenshot of this, and as soon as it showed, because I was like, oh my God, they've done the Palatoy R2D2. They've got him bang on. They've got him with the way they've designed him with a little triangle. Because when I was 7 and they brought out the R2D2, he had just one big eye, just like that, and 2 little triangles with 2 dots on. And that was R2. And for some reason, I loved it. I thought that was R2D2, even though kind of different. You know what I mean? And and I've been on because, like I said before, I'm on a couple of different droid builders sites, and somebody, and I think it's in the. I'll have to just get his name, because if I don't get it right, then because I want people to go and have a look at this guy. Mr. Bradley's printed droids. Yeah. I'll just show that to the camera there. See that there. See that there. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah. I'll put the link on the show notes. But he's put the file to that droid, to the Palatoy droid, as a full-size droid that you can build, and somebody's actually built it. Now they've made it official. They've actually done, and Filoni's made it official that is a droid. And I love it. In fact, if I was going to build a droid, I'd probably build that one instead of an R2D2 unit. I'd probably build that one. I just love the design. To me, well done, Dave Filoni. He likes bringing the old Palatoy toys and Kenner toys, should I say, into live action, and he's done a blinder with that one. Absolutely blinder. If he's behind it, brilliant. If the effects people behind it, brilliant. And I can't wait to see that droid at the next celebrations. Well, you'll probably see it at the next celebrations. Yeah, fantastic. Go on then. Yeah. What do you reckon?
I think the droid is just a really good note. What can I say? I think this scene here is one of my favorite. This scene reflects one of my favorite moments in Rebels. What is that moment? It's when Kanan cuts his hair.
Oh, that part, yeah.
Can't you tell? You know, because just before he knows, he knows what's going to happen. So he cuts his hair. He gets the job done.
It's been a long time since I watched Rebels. Now, I've got something to say about Rebels. Now, see that thing that was behind her, right?
The Rebel, the
mosaic
Ghost Crew Memorial.
Yeah, that. Well, that was it. Celebrations, and we thought it was just a thing that they put there, like the bunker that they put there from the Endor bunker they put there. But that was the actual thing. There's an actual prop from Ahsoka sitting there, and it didn't say it was an actual prop, did it? On the little notes that was.
I don't think so, because I remember reading it, and it just said, it was the Ghost Crew Memorial.
Yeah. And it was quite impressive. We stood there and looked at it, didn't we, Chris? And we said, that's impressive how they've built the whole thing. And you've got a photo. I think we've both got photos with it standing in front of it, haven't we? So that's something to keep, isn't it? We were there, we touched it. Yeah, great.
For sure. And so, some scenes. It's interesting. If you notice here, this is just a little thing where we'll get on to.
Did you see the space whale?
Yes, but more. Ahsoka wears a second outfit.
Oh yeah,
she's only ever wore one outfit in live action Star Wars.
Yeah, she has. Yeah,
and she's wearing a piloting outfit there.
Yeah, you're right. Never noticed that either.
There you go. Keep a keen eye.
The other thing about this is, you see, that's those space whales that go into warp, aren't they?
The Purgil.
Yeah. Which I think the last time you seen him was in an episode of The Mandalorian when he was in warp, and Grogu noticed one just behind the wall of the warp tunnel. You could see one swimming. Yeah, brilliant. Now, my biggest the thing is, I said to you was, when is this set? Because bearing in mind, Rebels was set during
it's set after
Return of the Jedi, isn't it? It's in the Mandalorian. So
before the Mandalorian, it's set
after the Mandalorian,
past episode 2 of. Sorry, not episode 2. Past season 2 of the Mandalorian, because you remember the Mandalorian, Ahsoka meets Din. Din disarms the woman for the Bespin.
Oh yeah, and she wants to know where Thorn is.
The Beskar spear.
Yeah.
But so, what do you think of Sabine Wren?
I like her. I like the actress that they picked her. She looks brilliant, but she doesn't look old enough. And this is what I said to you. None of these characters look old enough from when they're supposed to be.
It's Star Wars.
I know. But you're talking 20 odd years have passed. So are we taking into consideration that Ezra's been missing for 20 years? And same as Thrawn. He's been missing
this
for
is
20
the thing.
years.
This is something that I want to discuss after this trailer. So we'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is the main part.
Yeah.
Right here. The man,
Lars
Nicholson.
That's it. Yeah.
As Thrawn.
Yeah.
Who, if you don't know, played him as the voice actor.
Yes, he did. Yes.
All the way through to now a live action. What do you think of how he looks?
It looks good. He's a good actor. I like him as an actor himself. And but it's going to be a bit weird when he's doing that voice. That yes. You know what I mean? It's like somebody spills over a cup of coffee and he goes, "It's all part of the plan that you would walk into this room,
I
spill that
think
coffee."
that
You know what I mean?
it's very. I find it very interesting that they not give him a line, even a line of tactician,
Mm,
about even like a plan or all these things.
mm,
Uh, you know, a question that I do have is, are we going to see Ahsoka meet Thrawn in this season?
mm.
Is
Yeah.
a question that I'm not sure about right now. I would more lean to no.
Mm,
I would more lean that just finding Ezra
yeah.
probably will take up the first season,
Yeah.
because if they go where if they go where Star Wars wanted to go
Mm,
in making this Mandalorian crossover film,
yeah.
your bad guy's right here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you're not going to kill him off in the first episode, in the first season.
Mm,
They can't kill, Moff Gideon again.
yeah.
You've already said he's not the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm
this
hoping
is
that.
the bad guy.
Yeah, I'm
Of
hoping they carry it. I don't
the
want him to be
Mandoverse.
defeated in this one. I'm hoping they carry him on to forward, maybe into season 4 of the Mandalorian. Do you know what I mean? It needs somebody there. You know what I mean? And remember, this is all going to start to link up to the First Order as well. So they're going to be trying to sort out that connection as well. But I like the idea. Do you know what? Thrawn made me mad when I read about him. When I read the books, the original books, it made me mad. It just made me mad that this guy was just an awful person. It got under my skin about him. And then when they brought him into Rebels, it got underneath my skin again. And I think, is that because he's a really good bad guy? Because I thought I don't want him to go, but I thought, oh God, somebody do something. And when I'm reading the book, I was thinking, please kill him, but I don't want him to be killed. I want him to carry on. So yeah, to me, he's a very good villain. I've not read the new versions that Timothy Zahns wrote about Thrawn. I've read the original Thrawn books. Yeah,
extended universe.
Yeah.
I think seeing him is one thing. We can debate, is his skin too dark or is his skin too light? None of that matters. What matters is that one of the best characters from Thrawn is from Rebels is made its way into live action.
Okay.
If anything, we have the crew. We don't sadly have Kanan. I'll keep that one. But we have the crew. We have all of them. They're
We've
all
seen
gonna
them. Haven't we seen them all now? Technically,
pretty much.
because we've seen
Pretty
Zeb, didn't we? We saw Zeb in the Mandalorian. We've seen Hera. We've seen Sabine. We've seen Chopper. Who else is there?
There's
Go back to where
there's Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt, is he in this?
Yeah, right here. That's Jabba the Hutt.
Ugh. Right, go back.
You don't even get the joke.
No, I don't.
Too old.
Right. Go back to this where you've got the council with Mon Mothma looking just there. Go to that. Right. He's one of them. Oh no, I was thinking. Could one of them be that? Oh, did he die? No, that's that ex-Imperial guy who helped Zeb at the end. He was Imperial, then he turned. Did he die, or did he? What was his name?
No, who became Fulcrum?
Fulcrum, yeah, he had the big chops. Yeah, I can't remember. I was thinking, is he going to be in this group here? Wasn't too sure. I did. Do you know somebody posted a picture of this, and they said they saw Bosk there as well, and I was thinking, really? I didn't see him, but unless there was another shot that someone's shown from a different
Agent
trailer.
Callis.
Yeah, Agent Callis. Yeah, I was thinking, is he in this lot? But no, he's not. No.
Yeah. So, my question to you is: they're going to have to do some exposition to
Yes.
set up who these characters are.
Yes.
Are they going to do an animated exposition or a live action exposition? Or can I just like say it out loud without actually showing it?
Well, do you know what? I had the same question back to you, right? I was thinking, is this series made for people who have only seen Rebels?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It very much starting to look like a Rebel season 5.
Yeah.
But you know, if we really wanted to, you know, send it home, you do one thing in episode 1
Mm-hmm.
in the exposition. You remake some of the scenes from Rebels in live action. You get Freddie Prinze Jr. there just for them exposition scenes.
Yes,
and
yeah.
I'll be one happy Star Wars fan.
Yeah, like a flashback.
Yeah.
Or they're just going to start it with previously in Rebels.
Yeah, this happened.
This happens, yeah.
And you know, I'm really, really excited about this TV show. But my brain tells me it's going to go down like the rest of them. The hype, it will never live up to the hype. And it will not. I think that especially there's going to be things that won't go where they want it to go. For example, you know, Ray Stevens' character. Once they don't kill him, what happens if it was like, that was a big guy for the next season? You know, what are they gonna do? You know, what happens if you know, some characters that everyone thought would be great, you know, like Sabine, and just don't really go anywhere, you know. And I was gonna say this in this trailer, they show off Sabine having a lightsaber battle with Ray Stevens' apprentice. And Ray Stevens' apprentice says, you know, right here, she says, "You have no power." But what does that mean?
Yeah,
What
because
does that
I
mean?
asked you this when the trailer first came out. I said, is Sabine a Jedi? Because not once in Rebels did it ever say that she was, but she could wield the darksaber. She could chuck it around like the best of, you know. So technically, if you can, like, if you're a good swordsman, take it that you could be quite a good lightsaberman, if you know what I mean.
How I think about this is that anyone in the Star Wars universe can pick up a lightsaber, ignite it, and swing it around. But if that lightsaber then broke, you know, you could potentially fix it, even as not a Force user. But if the kyber crystal broke, you wouldn't have any chance. And I think that's the bit of it that makes a Jedi, you know, what's the difference between a Jedi and a non-Force user is that the kyber crystals call out to Jedis. You know, to put them in their lightsabers. Look at the Empire. They make a pretty big gun weapon with kyber crystals. So you can use them as not a Jedi to do bad things. It's just the way the Force works is that you need that guidance to build a lightsaber, but doesn't stop anyone's using it. Look at Jedi Survivor. All the people around the map with lightsabers, you think they're all Jedi? No, none of them have Force powers. So anyone can pick up a lightsaber, be trained in how to use it, I believe. But having the Force powers is that next level. And you don't know at this point. She could have no powers either, you know? And this is that thing about what is the Force? Is it perceiving your enemy's next move? Is it your third nature, you know, understanding the environment? Do you need that to swing a lightsaber around?
Now,
who knows?
I've going by everything I've seen and heard, because remember they deliberately put in a sound effect for whenever the Force is being used. Yeah. Now, when it comes to lightsaber battles, yeah, to me, it's the Force is not used in it. The Force is not used in the lightsaber battles. It's just it's just skill. Who's the best with a lightsaber? Who's the best duelist? You could say the Force is not. The only time you hear the voice is when they got the lightsaber and they do that sort of thing to push people back. You know what I mean? A special ability, press X. Do you know what I mean? Apart from that, there's no Force ability goes into having a lightsaber battle. You know what I mean? That's the way I took it. The other thing as well, Chris, is this trailer actually, to me, answers a sort of like a question that was in the last one. So if you whip it to the beginning of this trailer, when that lady runs into that base, yeah, into this ship, right? Ray Stevens kills him. They kill them, right? And you're going to have to pause it really, really, but you see her in the background. Yeah. She walks off and then she walks into the bridge. And now go to the bridge. There's a bit in where she walks into it. Get ready. Hold on. I think it's not this bit. It's not this bit. It is. Right, stop. Oh, just missed it. Right. So she walks into, if you just click it back a little bit. Right. Her. She's the spy in The Mandalorian. Yeah. Who got the Dr. Piskin, or whatever his name is.
No, it's not.
It looks just like her.
No, it really doesn't.
You sure? It looks just like it to me. All right.
No, that's completely someone different.
Mm.
The spy in The Mandalorian was like a Caucasian woman with short hair. This looks like not Caucasian, not short hair, definitely not the same person.
I think it is, but maybe. But I do like this. You know that bit where she comes in with that. Blah, blah, blah. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I'm totally looking forward to it. I really am, and we'll be covering it on future episodes of Radio Free Endor. We'll try and do them weekly, but the first one is a 2-hour. It's a 2-episode drop, isn't it? The first one that's being dropped on the 21st.
And then 2 days after, I'm off to the USA for 14 days.
So what we'll do, right, is we'll try and watch it on the day, and then straight from watching it, we'll try and get straight on just to cover the episode. Nothing else. Just cover the episode as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be watching it as soon as it drops. As soon as I finish work, you'll probably watch it as soon as you've done it work.
There's one character that I hope has a cameo in this TV show.
What's that?
See if you can guess. It's a droid.
Well, it's not Chopper. Droid. No, I don't know. You paid more attention to Rebels than I did.
I'm strangely calm. The silence, solitude. This is beautiful.
What?
I'm in a world all my own.
I hope we have
I do not
an
feel
AP5
alone.
in this. Do you remember this? This is Star Wars.
I know.
I fit perfectly in this wonderful,
Star Wars
beautiful No, go away. I was so happy.
And that is a reference that I hope to see.
Right.
I hope for the AP5 reference.
Okay. Okay. Right. With that, let's nip on to our last bit because the time's getting on. We'll quickly go through it. And that is our Indiana Jones, our review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So, yeah. Indiana Jones. You've seen it. I've seen it. I went to see, got tickets for the, I think it was the Friday, went to see it. The cinema was sort of empty. It weren't full. There were a lot of people there. I went in my Indiana Jones hat and I sat down. The beginning bit, Chris, I loved. The beginning bit, I absolutely loved that whole 1940s bit. I could have seen the whole film like that. It was just great. There was that bit where people would go, "Oh man," you could tell as soon as he opened his mouth, there was an 80-year-old's voice coming out, and I thought, really? If I hadn't read that before, I probably wouldn't have noticed it in the film, but I did. But I didn't. I scooted past it. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant how they did it. There was a couple of bits that were like, you know, in the bell tower. If you've seen it, you know what's happened with him in the bell tower. Now, but the other thing about it, right? Let me just whip that back to where in this trailer here. Right, that was it. There. Do you know when he hits Voller?
Mhm.
Mads Mikkelsen. It's not Mads. It is Mads Mikkelsen. It's like they CGI'd his
Mikkelsen's brother.
Lars. Yeah, funny enough, right? They sort of CGI'd, de-aged Harrison Ford, but they de-aged Mads Mikkelsen. But his de-aging looked like they just did a smoother on his skin because he looked false. He did look false to me. I was kind of, you know what I mean, like somebody put Vaseline over his face or something. It didn't look right, but everybody else did. But there again, Mads Mikkelsen doesn't look that old now, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So, but it was just kind of strange that they'd done so much on his face to make him even younger. And there's a scene in it on top of the train where he gets. Well, there's a couple of spoilers here. It's been out a bit, but you know, he gets knocked out, and you think that's got to have killed. That's got to have killed him, but you know, he's got like a little scar on his head. But I liked him because it touches in. It sort of dips in and out. It sort of dips in and out of Project Paperclip. If you're ever interested in anything that happened in about the war, it's a real thing. You can Google it, Project Paperclip, where the Americans took the best Nazi scientists and you brought them to America. We did it as well. You know, all the countries did it, and they helped put a man on the moon. Now they even reference that this guy Voller puts a man on the moon. Which is it's kind of strange because it's the other guy, isn't it, Von Braun or whatever his name is, who put the man on the moon. But I thought he was great as a villain. I really did. I thought he was he had a really crappy ending, right? But as a villain, I liked him. I thought he was great, top notch. But the whole film, he had a tendency to turn up, you know, at the right point at the right places, even though he's got no prior knowledge of where they're going, but he seemed to just turn up. Do you know what I mean? Which got to me. I was thinking, what really? Now there's an underwater scene I loved. There is some real touching moments in this film that for me, story wise, was like, you know, Harrison Ford brought his A game with it, and there is some parts where he's truly heartbroken, and it's from the heart, and what he's saying, you know, it's killing him. But to me, I don't know why the writers went down that route and put him in, because Kingdom, say what you say about the Crystal Skull, it had a fantastic ending to me. It had the best ending. Why they have to suddenly put that character in the crap? You know what I mean? To sort of like bring him back. I don't know why. They could have just said, you know, your kid's gone over here, but you know, they've killed him off. I'm going to say they killed him off screen because they don't like Shia LaBeouf. What happened to recasting, ladies and gentlemen? Why can they not just recast him? And his relationship with Marion, you know, and she's come on later in an interview saying that she feels like her character was underused. Same with the guy who plays Sulla. Anyway, so the film goes along, and there is some there is no end of action scenes, but it's very, very CGI heavy. All the action scenes are very CGI heavy. And it's even gone down to that point where you see it in the Fast and Furious, where two cars are speeding along a very busy street and they have time to look at each other and have a bit of a conversation. Yeah. Without looking at the road. You think, well, there's no stakes here. You know what I mean? Where, of course, I know everything's got to be CGI and practical, but I put Indiana Jones is famed for practical stunts like that. You know what I mean? And you know, Indiana Jones is, I have to say, he is only a co-star in this film. He is not the main guy in this film. He's a co-star. Now, Horseface, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I hated, didn't like her, could not stand her. She made my teeth grind. The amount of eye rolling I kept doing with her dialogue, did they write her like that? Did she put input to write her character like that? She was just mean. She was just such a mean person. She tried to get Indiana Jones killed 3 times. I mean, she really wanted him being killed, right? And she wanted to sell these artifacts. This, the Archimedes, the Dial of Destiny, she wanted to sell it. You know what I mean? Just get rid of it. And her arc all the way, literally to the end, was her wanting to sell it, and then she had to change her heart right at the end. I don't buy it. There was no character building of her to from where she started to where she ended. Nothing. She was just obnoxious. She was horrible. She was just, I could not stand her. You know what I mean? I think with a clever bit of editing, they could take her out of it by 50%. It'd be a better film. She was, the way she talked to Indiana Jones, the way she acted with him, which is awful. Didn't like her. Teddy, the short round, the short round that you ordered from Wish, he was in it. He was like, what? What was he in it for? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. To fly a plane, which he never actually flew. He never even trained to fly in a plane. And she even says it to him. That's how good this script is. She says to him, Teddy, can you fly that plane? He goes, oh, I don't think so. I've never flew it. And then she says, well, you've never flew a plane. So why have you asked him that question in the first place? God, the dialogue in this film was just awful. It just made me mad. Now, there is some fantastic set scenes, I have to say. There's some really good scenes. And there's a scene where they find Archimedes' grave, his casket, right? And, it's all out there now. I mean, it's been, everyone knows about what the ending is and now it is with the time traveling and everything. And on the casket, you can see the dragon. They've done a dragon with propellers. And Horseface, she says, oh, there's propellers on this dragon. He goes, oh, yeah, well, yeah. And then they open up the casket and they see Voller's watch. And that's that scene that I've paused it on now, where Indy gets the other part of the Archimedes Dial of Destiny, gets the second piece. Now, do you know what I would have done at that point, Chris? I would have done it where Indy would have walked away and then Horseface would have looked into the coffin and noticed that there's 2 bodies in that casket. 2, yeah? And when she looks, she moves it across and it's the body of Indiana Jones, right? I would have wrote it that was the body of Indiana Jones in there. So she knew that they had that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they've got to go back, yeah? And then she changes it. She changes to bring him back, right? That would have made a far more interesting bit of why she brought him back, because she didn't want to leave him there. She wanted to see if history can be changed in her own. And that would have made an interesting, because you never see it, do you, in time travel films where somebody's actually changed it, knowing, just to see what it would be like if they changed history, and that was it. Yeah, but she didn't. And then when they do go back, Indy gets shot, fatally shot, you think. But then all of a sudden he's okay for 5 minutes. Then he's not. Then he's okay for 5 minutes. Then he parachutes, and it's like, what, is he dead or not? And then she goes on about, and she speaks, to Archimedes. Horseface goes, I'm a big fan of your work, but gotta go. And now, and then the punch that she knocks Indiana Jones out with one punch. And when she knocks him out, she then puts his body. You got to remember this, right? She knocks him out with one punch, right? And she's spindly, skinny woman, punches him, knocks him out. And in that first knockout, she takes him back to the plane, puts him in the plane. They fly the plane through the fissure. They land the plane in wherever it was. From there, she transfers him to another plane. They gets him some medical, bandages or whatever. They fix him up. Then they fly him from there to New York, and then from New York they put him in his flat, and then that's when he wakes up from the punch. What happened? I'm thinking, oh God, my God, please, what the hell is going on with this? It was just so. But there is one good thing about it. Out of all the films, Indiana Jones has never ever come away with the artifact that he was searching for. But if you look closely on the table beside him, is this artifact, the Dial of Destiny. But what good is it? It takes him back to the same place. And I was thinking, so is that fuchsia thing always going to be there at that time for Archimedes to see? No, look at that. You know what I mean? It's like, what? I was expecting something to magically happen with it. Portray something, but I think it's just going, oh, look, there's just there. Look, it's just it was just crap. It was just crap. I hated it. But half of me thought, I've got to like it. If it's on Disney Plus, I'm going to watch it again. But this is nowhere good as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Nowhere near. All these people that go, oh, I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. I think they're all deluding themselves because they daren't put on the internet that they hated it. Right? It's not a good film. It's not a good ending for Indiana Jones, and it's a bad film to think that that's how he's bowing out. And considering that what the box office has took for it, it is laughable. I'm sorry, I know Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull got a bad rap. I liked it. It had the best ending I have ever seen. When I was at the cinema and I saw that UFO taking off and disappear with that John Williams score, I was like, wow. And when he got married, he had such an happy ending. And also, let's just talk about the score for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny by the master John Williams. Not that good. Have to say it, not that good. I've listened to it 4 or 5 times. It's not that good, right? It's got Helen's theme on it, Horseface McGee, whatever her name is, right? Her theme on it, and then there's a version of it with a violin. It just sounds like it's a track from Schindler's List. It is so dull, and I'm like, oh, God, right? When he previewed it like a year and a half ago, I wasn't that keen on it then, and now I've listened to it. I'm thinking it's not that good, and it's the end. It's got no end titles, no end. Because if you listen to the soundtrack to the other 3 Indiana Jones, well, 4 Indiana Jones films, they've got the melody. They've got the bam 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 bam, and then it runs into a couple of the other themes, and bam 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 bam. It finishes with the Radius March and bam bam bam. No, it's not that. It's none of that. It's just the Radius theme, bam 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 bam, and it's only literally a minute. It's just a minute. That's it. It's done, dusted, gone. I'm hoping the soundtrack is just like the bog standard, and they're going to bring out a deluxe version. But I'm not on my breath. We had a good film. We had a good soundtrack. I have to say it. I didn't like it. Didn't really enjoy it. It was a meh. I'll give this on a scale of 5, right? And I think a scale of 5 is too much. I'll give it a 1.5 out of 5. Easy, 1.5. Right? Crystal Skull was a good 5. But I always do things that I know you do your 5 scale, but or 5 stars or whatever. But I'll always go with like a 10 out of 10 or whatever. Right? The first 3 are roundabout in between 8 and 10. Easy, 8 and 10. Temple of Doom is my favorite, 100% my favorite, right? But Crystal Skull, I would give Crystal Skull a good maybe 6.5 out of 10. But Dial of Destiny, 1, 2 maybe, just for what? Nah. That's my view. That's my review of Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. Chris, over to you.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was the best Indiana Jones film since Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite parts. I really did enjoy Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character personally.
Did you?
And I really did enjoy the scene on the boat, where good old Puss in Boots gets shot.
Yeah, he even spoke like Puss in Boots. Really, Indy? It was like, wow. Yeah, he's like, I was
And
thinking,
then,
he shot him going,
I do
I
admit,
was like, hey, you
in
shot Puss in Boots.
it was a great scene. He gets shot, sorry, but Helena saves the day, and she's like, "We did it, we got away." And Indy goes, "My friend just died. My friend just died." She goes, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, she was, wasn't she? Yeah.
I thought she was a good character. Helena's character was wrote to be decisive. She was wrote to be this. Is she a bad person? Is she a good person? Is she an opportunist? Is she not? You know, a lot of the women in Indiana Jones do the same kind of thing. The good, bad, the in the middle. If you really asked me where this film fell apart, it wasn't with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character. It was with the action. It was action by action by action. The pieces where they let the story speak, they were the good parts. When they had the airport scene with Indy, when they had the boat scene with Puss in Boots, you know, when they actually let the actors speak, they were the great parts. The action scenes were great, but they could have just cut down on one or two of them, especially the Morocco bit. I could have, probably cut that one out. I think if you had one or two more scenes uh, with Matt Mikkelsen speaking about why, this was going on, and especially, really understanding Helena's character. What was she doing this for? Because at the start, it was very much, I'm doing this for my dad. Then it was, I'm doing this for the money. But by the end, it was, am I doing it for my dad again by saving Indy? They really just needed to nail that of like, she wasn't ever really doing it for the money. She was doing it for her love of what her dad did, and I think that we can all have our personal opinions on certain actors and certain reasons. There was, bad parts of it, but at the end of the day, we got an Indiana Jones film.
Yeah.
Are you
we did.
not happy?
Was I not entertained?
Exactly. You was entertained for 3 hours, even if there was bad parts. It was still entertaining. You said yourself, you will sit down and you will watch it on Disney Plus. That, to my level of opinion, is a higher mark than the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, you got a point there. I won't watch Rise of Skywalker again.
So
Didn't like it.
For something, they got some things right. They got Indy right. They got the bad guy right. What they didn't get right was the balance of exposition and talking versus action. And really what my partner said best was the areas that needed more was around, the tomb of the ancient guy, around the
Archimedes.
reason,
Yeah.
explaining in plain English that the dial was always going to go back to this time. That's what the key scene at the end missed. What Volga didn't know and understand that was his downfall was it was always going to go back to this time. Because Indy said at one point, Archimedes didn't know about, continental drift. And that made fans go, well, the down point of the bad guy was history, not maths. But actually, what was the truth? Was it Indy's theory about continental drift, or Helena's theory that it was a decked hand and it would always go back to that time. They didn't
Yeah.
answer it quite clearly. They kind of left it out in the open. And I think that was the only real downfall of the final act, is they really explained why it went back. And what they did with Indy, you know, of him asking to be left there, this is something he's researched all of his life. He knows about this. He's seeing, you know, his most amazing things reality. If I picked you up without any of a doubt and I said, you walk through that door and you're going to be on the set of Return of the Jedi, you'd be like, no, never bring me back. You know, I want to stand here.
Yeah.
I want to be on the set of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So of course you understand how Indiana Jones is. He's living the moment. He wants to be fair, die there, and he would die there because they lost that battle soon after. You know, the Romans did still conquer that island no matter what. So Indy would die there, and I think that's the thing, is that the film, if it missed anything, was not the action, was the exposition. You know, the reasons why these things was happening, why Helena went from for my dad to Cash to Indy, you know, why the scenes at the end mattered, why, you know, his wife came back, because they didn't really explain why his wife came back. They just went, Indy's back. Back from where?
Yeah.
All he's done is gone on an adventure, you know.
Yeah. And is he still wanted for murder?
And this is where I come down to, right back to what we said at the start. Is this the story that he wanted to make?
Yeah.
Because, right, some people say it was J.J. Abrams that wanted Palpatine back. But then, all this controversy about the Actors Guild, there's thoughts coming out that, no, it wasn't JJ that said Palpatine comes back. It was the executives at the studios that said Palpatine comes back.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it goes back to this film, you know. Is the stories that are coming out truly the visions that they wanted? Look at Logan. You know, Logan, he knew how to write an old man story. He wrote Indiana Jones well. The way the story went, I believe, was outside his control.
Yeah,
you know?
you're probably right. You're probably right.
And I personally still think it was a good film. Was it a great film? No. Was it an Oscar-worthy film? No.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna watch all the Indiana Jones films again, would I put it on? Yes. You know. But this is the thing, and if I was to really say what let the film down the most, was not the writing, was not the story, was that Harrison Ford is an 80-year-old man.
Yes, he is.
And this film probably should have came out 20 years ago.
Yeah, it should have done. Yeah, when he done Force Awakens, they promised him they were going to do this film, and I generally do believe they've just left it too long. Just left it too long.
And this is where it comes to practical effects. You know,
yeah,
they had him hanging off a tank, and it was, you know, he was young enough to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
plus
now he's an old man.
We have got them films that we can always see. They'll always be there to watch.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right. Do you know? And I also
want
to say, yeah, I also want to say is they definitely missed a trick with not having week one short round. Yeah. Now, I've got a couple of favorite reviewers of Indiana Jones, and one of them is Jeremy Johns. I think he does some really good reviews. Now, he did a little thing in his spoiler review for Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to just play it because I just like it. So if you get a chance, go to Jeremy Johns, right? Listen to him when he's does Dial of Destiny. But this is quite good. Listen to this.
Brought into this film. The film is done. It's in the can. It comes out in mere months, and I must say we made the right call. Ki Hui Kwani lacks the star power, I must say.
Mom, I just want an Oscar.
Fuck! Oh, I'd love to be a fly on that wall. So Shia
I thought he did a crack. That just explains everything to me. Just explains everything to me. Go and watch his videos. Jeremy Johnson is quite good. Every now and again, he pulls out a little nugget, and you think, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Right? Yeah. Let's end that. So, what would you rate it? What's your rating?
I would honestly rate it a 3 out of 5. It was average. No, that's the thing. It was average.
I actually wrote a Indiana Jones spec script, but I'll leave that for next week, and I'll read it out next week. Right then, Chris, that just brings us. We've actually covered the subjects that we wanted to. Took us nearly 2 hours, but if you're still watching it, thank you for sticking with us. And with that, brings us to the end of the show. See, if I had a button, that's when the music starts playing. Right then, Chris, is there anything else you want to say about anything?
Well, we looked forward to Indiana Jones. We look forward to most things. Will it always disappoint our measly expectations? Yes. But at least we got one more Indiana Jones film in the can.
There's that. Also, I would also go on to line and say, talking about stuff that's come out now on streaming, which I was going to start to watch the Bird Box Barcelona, the sequel to Bird Box on Netflix. I was just about to start watching that, but then I thought, now because we really wanted to dive into what's been happening, with Disney and that. But on Apple, there's a series called Silo. All the episodes are online. It's brilliant. It reminded me of the City of Ember books, which I've read. Fantastic set of books, and Apple have done a fantastic. I've not read the Silo books, but I have downloaded them to listen to now because I'm invested in it. It's brilliant. It's 10 episodes. It's absolutely fantastic. The clues, the what's happening in this silo. Me and my wife were like jumping in, going, "Oh, did you see that? Oh, there's a clue there." Great. If I was going to rate it out of 10, I would give it a good 8.5 out of 10. It's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. The new season of Foundation has started. I've not got around to watching any of the episodes yet because my wife wants to watch the first season of Foundation. And Chris, have you watched any of the new episodes of Foundation?
I didn't even know there was another season.
Yeah, it started today. Look enthusiastic. Right. Yeah, it started yesterday, I think. So that's online, which I'll be going to see. Yeah, great. Right then. I will now look at my show notes for this aspect because I have to read it. Well, if you're into Star Wars, then look no further. Well, that's me. That's the Ghostbusters one. Why am I looking at that? That's weird. I accidentally loaded the. Oh man, I think I've. Oh, that's it. I've got it. I did. I unloaded the wrong one. That's the Ghostbusters one. All right. Thank you for joining us on Radio Free Endor. We hope you've enjoyed immersing yourself in the galaxy far, far away with us. But if your love for the dark side doesn't stop there, then please go over to my other podcast that will send shivers down your spine. It is Who You Gonna Call. It's the Ghost Heads UK podcast. Right, but stay connected with us on social media and be part of our vibrant community. Search for at Radio Free Endor on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. And if you're watching it on YouTube, then hit the like button and subscribe and turn on the notifications to stay up to date with all our latest episodes, discussions, and exciting news. I promise from the now on, I will try and put on a list that we're going to be recording that night because I would like to get some feedback of what we've been talking about. So email, if you want to email us, you can do. So if you want to dive deeper into the Star Wars or Ghostbusters with us, send your thoughts, comments, and questions to radiofreeendor@gmail.com. And if you've got any ghost stories, then I love them for our Ghost Heads podcast. So you can email ghostheadsuk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow me, Jamie_R_Burns on Twitter, and Chris.
Burned Chris on Threads.
Ooh, yeah, I'm on Threads as well. It's quite boring actually. We'd love to hear from you and have a fantastic galactic chat. For all you super fans out there, why don't you head over to TeePublic and get your hands on official Radio Free Endor merchandise, whether it's a t-shirt, hoodie, mask, stickers, mugs, key rings, or mouse mats. We've got it covered. Show off your love for the show and look ultra cool while doing it. Remember, iTunes is the go-to place to download our show, so make sure to leave us a fantastic 5-star review. The support means the galaxy to us and helps us to reach more listeners who are hungry for more Star Wars content. How fantastic. In fact, I've got the official Radio Free Endor t-shirts here. I'll just... Ghostbusters one, there it is. That is the official Radio Free Endor one, which Chris has got and Holly's got. Holly, his partner, has got a special one that I designed with Grogu one, and that's the only one. She has got the only one of that design. So lucky Holly. But it was, and I'd be far pressed. In fact, I won't be doing another one of that one. That is for her only and nobody else. Yeah, great. But
she appreciates that.
She's lovely. I love her a lot. She'll. I can't wait for when you two tie the knot. That's for sure. Make it official. You know what I mean? And in fact, congratulations to Chris, because he's having his engagement party at the end of the month, which we'll go into. So can't wait to meet up with the whole family and have a good knees up and a drink up with him and his future wife. Congratulations, Chris.
I'll wait to see everyone there.
Great. Anyway, so that leaves us for me to say fantastically thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Chris, it's just another brick in the wall. And thank you, Chris, for coming on. It's been fantastic. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.
Thank you very much. See you all soon. Thanks.
Bye-bye.